ramifications of this, but Melda's done something pretty cool here. I assume that you use the bank system for your key switches, and it's a very cool system where you can actually change like an entire instrument or effect system or whatever just using banks. And the banks are like these little modules that are built into various components. Anyway, one cool thing I noticed is that you can have multiple triggers for banks. Kind of hard to explain this, but basically I have two samplers and I want them to use the same banks to switch back and forth. And so if I added like a third sampler or whatever, I could also have that switch the same bank, because I'm trying to get a unity in the switchover so that they all are playing basically the same thing. And that's why you can go in here and actually create an additional bank just based on whatever number of either components or whatever you have going on. So here I have actually two banks being controlled simultaneously, which is very cool. So that means when I switch these over, it will trigger the proper switch simultaneously in both of these instruments. That is amazing. But also it means that you can have the banks do different things, which is also amazing. So that's a really cool, handy feature, and I guess I'll leave it at that. But of course, there's a lot more you could do going on with that. That's pretty cool. So anyways, I'm going to be using it for my sort of articulation switching. But the banks feature is basically taking the idea of a key switch to the next level. Oh, and I do have these set up as key switches. So basically, my MIDI is triggering the bank to switch. And I just have, as an example, these two at the moment. But if I had more, I could switch more. And it's not a preset switch. It's actually switching into a whole different like sampling instrument. So it can be a little bit more sophisticated than a preset switch. And it's a bit of a challenge to set all this stuff up. But once you figure it out, it's really incredibly deep and incredibly cool.